Hello, and thank you all for joining our webinar today. I'm Elizabeth Lazat Brown, and I'm the Senior Director of Channel Partnerships here at the Mom Project. I have with me an array of special guests who are going to tell you a little bit about the mission of the Mom Project and our special partnership that we have with SAP Fieldglass. Ariana, if you want to move to the next. Perfect. So first, what we're going to do is quickly run through our agenda, and then I'm going to introduce our special guests. Up first, we'll have someone who needs no introduction to you, Arun Srinivasan, who's going to give you an introduction to the partnership between SAP Fieldglass and the Mom Project. Then the Mom Project's CEO and founder, Allison Robinson, will give you a quick overview into the special circumstances that are impacting working moms today. I'm going to do an overview of the Mom Project solution along with my partner, Donna Yelmokis. Your colleague, Mike Plew, will do a quick App Center overview, and then we're going to do Q&A. As a quick housekeeping item, you can leave questions in the chat for today. However, we'll also unmute you so you can ask questions of the panel. So thanks again for joining. We're thrilled to have you with us today. And I'm going to pass it off first to Arun for his opening remarks.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth. Hello, everyone. Trust everyone is doing well. First of all, thank you for joining. And before we get into the main topic for the discussion today, I wanted to kick things off by sharing a little story about the SAP Fieldglass business. And roughly, as you know, we became part of the SAP family 6.5, roughly 7 years back. And until then, we were an independent business. And when we became part of the family, we went through a process where our processes and our systems were mapped to existing systems. As part of that, there was a receiving team that looked at what we did, what were our metrics, among other things, how we managed our talent. And that team asked us, I vividly remember the team asking us some metrics about our talent, what percentage of your talent is early stage talent, what percentage of your workforce are comprised of women, how many women are in management and other D&I metrics, etc. And honestly, we struggled and we didn't have the answers, actually. And our immediate reaction was one of guilt, thinking, we never even thought about tracking these metrics. It looks like it's important to other companies. And so we felt really bad about it. And then long story short, we went and ran the process to come up with the metrics as needed. And we and the receiving team was surprised to see how highly we scored in terms of the metrics they were tracking. So whether it was number of women in the workforce or women in management, we were much higher than what the norm was for our industry. And frankly, when then they turned around and asked us, how did you do it? And we didn't have a clue, to be honest. And we looked around and said, we just did the right thing. We just did the right thing and it just happened that way. And so I'm not saying that's the best way to manage it, but in many cases, it just leads me to today's conversation about the Mom Project, and that just sounds so good saying it. But in many cases, when you do the right thing, everything else just works. And when I think about the Mom Project, I think about a business, an initiative that's doing right by society, right by the people in the society, and solving some specific problems which you'll learn about. as and I have talked to customers who are engaged with the Mom Project, including some longstanding Fieldglass customers, and the feedback that we get consistently is, "I wish I knew about them earlier." So I'm very excited to partner with the Mom Project. But before we move on, I wanted to challenge our thinking, our collective thinking, your thinking on one topic. And that is, in years past, especially in the area of procurement, broadly in the area of talent management, people management, there's been this concept of tracking suppliers, vendors based on the ownership model. So whether it's a minority-owned supplier, women-owned supplier, there are different terms for it: MUBI, WIMBI, DNI-based supplier, etc. And the notion that I want to challenge is that so guiding a certain portion of your business towards that kind of a supplier is important, it's necessary, but I believe that's not sufficient. I believe to really make a difference, we need to start tracking those metrics at a worker level to see who is really benefiting through that engagement. And so that's just an idea that has germinated over the last few years, and we are challenging ourselves, challenging our ecosystem to think about it and say, okay, how can we enact that? But for today, if there is one takeaway I have is for you is to learn more about the Mom Project, and most importantly, as you engage with prospects, our customers, with our broader ecosystem, find ways where we can connect the Fieldglass solution to the Mom Project, and I would even say SAP broadly to the Mom Project. So those are some thoughts I wanted to share with you. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Allison.
Thank you so much, Arun, for those kind words. Your partnership means so much to us, and I'm so grateful for your executive sponsorship on the partnership. Thank you so much, and I love the call to action. Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. Quickly, my background, I founded the company about 5 years ago. Prior to that, I'd spent about 8 years at Procter & Gamble, working on our Pampers innovation team for North America, and getting to spend a lot of time, as you can imagine, with moms. And I absolutely fell in love with that job, and in that role became pregnant with my son, Asher. And it was while I was at home with him that I discovered over 40% of American women leave the workforce after having children. And I saw how I could become part of that stat. And I envisioned a world where women didn't have to choose between their families and their career. So this company was really built from my own need to design a workplace that could allow women to stay engaged and thrive. And it's been such an incredible 5 years. What I hope you'll take away today is we are at such a critical inflection moment in our country and across the globe for women in the workplace. Women are quite literally in the fight of their lives and fighting a battle on three fronts: an economic crisis, a healthcare crisis, and a childcare crisis. You know, we entered the year really on a high in terms of employment for women, a lot of that driven by growth in sectors like healthcare and education. And the pandemic has quite literally unraveled over a decade's worth of progress for women in the workplace. I'll start with the economic toll it's taken. We know very different from prior economic recessions, women have been absolutely most hit by this. And 60% of job loss has been incurred by women. So there's been a tremendous financial and economic toll being taken. We also know that about a third of female workers were in jobs deemed as essential. So quite literally having to put themselves in harm's way to bring home that income. And aside to the physical health crisis, also a mental health crisis. We know that parents are reporting being stressed and unprecedented levels of anxiety. And on top of all of that, we've seen the unraveling of our already fragile childcare infrastructure in the US, and over 60% of childcare centers had to close their doors. They operate on very slim margins. So many of them will not be able to return. And we know the education system is going through just a massive transition right now as some schools reopen, and it just provides a lot of instability for American families. And about 1 million women left the workforce in September alone. So please, I ask you, this is such a critical moment for us to retain and be able to engage with women in the workplace. So please don't look at these numbers and say we shouldn't hire women because they're suffering through so much. This is when we need them in jobs more than ever that can pay for that childcare, that can lift they and their families up. So thank you so much for allowing me to be here today, and just could not be more excited about this partnership and our opportunity to scale with your incredible customers.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Allison and Arun, for those introductions and helping us set the stage for today. And I'm going to set the stage just a little bit further. Diversity and inclusion programs began in the US in the late 60s and have become an expected fixture at leading enterprise companies, regardless of industry, which makes it all the more fascinating that we're still talking about the implementation and effectiveness of these programs. In 2014, the largest tech companies started tracking and reporting workforce data in an effort to recognize improved diversity hiring programs. For Black employees, when the initiative started, the average percentage of Black workforce for these companies was 3.7% of their working populations. At the end of 2018, the last time when all data was available, the percentage of Black employees had increased to just over 4.5%. And this is when they were trying. The percentage of women is better, but not even close to being reflective of what our society looks like. And while this sounds dismal, most companies do meet their diversity hiring goals. But the problem is when it comes to retention. Even companies who are successful at hiring to their D&I objectives start losing their highest performers in these categories when they become mothers, if they lack mentors or role models, or if they don't feel part of an inclusive community. Sometimes all of the above. It's important to recognize how much the household has changed in the last several decades and how different the American family looks today. 86% of US women become mothers. 72% of moms with children under the age of 18 work outside the home. And 4 in 10 out of those women are a single head of household. And you heard Allison say that almost 1 million women left the workforce in September. It wasn't that they got laid off or they lost their jobs. They left the workforce because of the juggling act that's being forced upon them with homeschooling, working from home, sometimes loss of job and loss of access to childcare. But there's a way to combat this potential exodus of workers. Enter the Mom Project. The Mom Project is a digital talent cloud and marketplace where top job seekers and like-minded employers connect. In short, we get moms jobs. And to support them, no matter where they are in their career journey, we provide multiple services to engage and elevate them, including coaching, resume building, weekly webinars, virtual peer meetups, digital assistance, and our most recent program, RISE, a scholarship program committed to accelerating opportunity and access to critical skills for women of color. For our clients, we plug into their contingent workforce program to support their talent strategy and solve for diversity and inclusion goals. Our diverse talent cloud powers the delivery of highly skilled, diverse talent built to fit in today's contingent workforce programs. So, who are we? We're a talent community of over 300,000 strong and growing. And despite our name, we are not exclusive. We are for everyone. but that everyone is currently 90% female and 40% diverse, and we're on target to reach our goal of 50% diversity by year end. We are mid-career professionals. We're distributed nationally with a focus in the Bay Area, Chicago, and New York, as well as fully remote roles across a variety of disciplines. We are a passive pool of candidates. Almost 3/4 of the participants in our pool are working now, but they're open to opportunities that help them advance their professional and personal goals. And since we're an opt-in community, we're able to gather a lot of info about the work preferences of our talent. For instance, we know that flexibility matters, and we also know that they're interested in contract work. So how we work. You can put in your hip pocket that we do direct hire, but that's not really germane for this group. The number one that we engage with our clients is as a supplier in a contingent workforce program. We will sign a supplier agreement, align with the program office on what we're best equipped to fill, and where warranted, define special programs for maternity leaves or return to work. Once we're part of a program, we perform. We recently went live at our mutual client, Medtronic, and we've already had several placements, including one for a very senior role that up until we had joined, Medtronic was having a hard time filling. In short, they couldn't believe the caliber of our talent. You are a trusted advisor to your clients, and per Arun's plea, your recommendation means so much to us and to the programs in which you're serving. If you have an HR stakeholder in your program, call us. If your client is putting diversity and inclusion at the forefront of their employee branding, call us. These are scenarios in which we excel and we deliver both for you and for clients. You get the benefit of demonstrating you're aware of your client's business objectives and doing some good. And so you're aware, we typically pursue deals with an annual contract value ranging from 125 upwards of 250K annually. Now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Donna Yelmokas, who's going to orient you towards our diversity talent clouds.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Wow, that's every time I hear Allison and Arun talk, I want to make it my my alarm when I wake up, just to very inspirational. Thank you both. And thank you to the SAP Fieldglass team for joining the call. So I'm giving you a sneak peek into what's coming. And as Arun and Allison have both stated, now is the moment. In today's super competitive landscape, set against the backdrop of a global pandemic, uprising of corporate social responsibility, talent engagement is more important than ever before. Not surprisingly, the ability to tap into on-demand communities of diverse talent has become the hottest topic of talent and work. So we went on, which I've coined as the Mom Project Roadshow, or in nowadays terms, Zoom. As we're talking to customers and partners just like yourself, overwhelmingly the conversation turns to how can they attract and engage curated, diverse contingent talent through the platform. Arun, I don't know if you remember when Greg and I had your call. I think your big statement is, what are you waiting for? Why not do it now? So we listened, and together with our incredible team of engineers, talent experts, and partner feedback, we developed and launched the Mom Project Diverse Talent Cloud. What is Diverse Talent Clouds? It's the de facto source of highly skilled, diverse talent for enterprise customers. The Mom Project will impact the employment landscape in favor of underrepresented minorities on a massive and lasting scale. A few details. It's super important. We've built the platform solution to work within the current contingent workforce program with zero friction. So in other words, easy peasy. The clouds are pre-vetted, curated, and configured to each customer's job categories. Communities will be 50% ethnically diverse, tailored to the company's own D&I objectives. We'll also be reporting on talent diversity information through EEO compliance. Last but not least, our AI is built by women for women. Neural network learning incorporating customer culture and D&I objectives into the clouds. We're proud that the matching algorithms we've built reduce bias and, more importantly, don't hold career pauses against candidates. Most AI algorithms do. All this means is better, fair matches that factor a multidimensional view of potential. More to come. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Donna. And we've been doing a really good job getting through our content. We are a model of efficiency today. So I'm going to sum up. We'll move on to a quick overview of the App Center from Mike Plew, and then we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. So hold on, not quite. Ultimately, our mission is to make progress on building a better workplace for today's workforce and for tomorrow's. We believe the workforce of the future looks more diverse. Today's millennial parents and their children are the most diverse generations in US history. Accessible, with remote work democratizing access to opportunities for groups that have traditionally been marginalized, and human, with employees wanting to be supported for who they are as a whole person and not just an employee. But we cannot do it on our own. We need your help. We need you as our partners to take bold and definitive action, to make a commitment, and to make a difference. And we are making a difference today because, as you noticed on your invitation, for every SAP attendee, the Mom Project will proudly make a donation of $100 to a Chicago area food bank. So we really thank you for your time and attendance, and we look forward to your engagement on the Q&A. But first, I'm going to turn it over to Mike, who wants to talk about deal registration.
Thank you very much. My name is Mike Plew. I'm part of the partner application ecosystem, and just wanted to do a quick review. Hopefully most of you on the call have seen a slide similar to this, but if you do have an opportunity with a customer who's interested in the Mom Project, what you want to do is go to the SAP Application Center. It's a public website. Do a quick search and locate the Mom Project. When you locate them, you'll see the bottom of the screen, we have a screenshot, and you'll click on Get It Now. That'll open up the dialog box on the upper right-hand corner. If you could put in your information, your first name, your email, but under the company name, put who the customer is, and then hit contact sales. When you do this, this will do a few things. Is one, that request will eventually end up with the Mom Project, and if you're in the Midwest or East, they'll have the appropriate person from their team contact you and have that initial discussion about the customer. The second thing that it does, it notifies the team that I'm on, and we can track that lead and see how it progresses. And then the third thing it does is if a deal is closed and it's registered, that's how we get you paid, is through that registration in the App Center. And then top left, real quick, if you need more information, we have a Jam site that has all the partner apps out there. We have sales one-pagers. And if there's anything I can do, please go ahead and contact me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate it. All right, I'm going to start my video just so that I'm back. All right, and now on to Q&A. Ariana, is there by chance anything that you can see in the chat function about any questions from our attendees?
We do not have any questions at this time.
Okay, excellent. And are attendees unmuted so that if they have any questions that they'd like to ask of the group, we can take them that way?
I will unmute them now.
Excellent.
I know this is not a shy group, Elizabeth. Come on.
I'm seeing on the attendee list where it's becoming talking permitted. So it was really important to us, that we give you an overview of our solution to make sure that you understood how it was that we typically engage with VMS customers. I see that everyone is now muted. What questions or what do you have, or what can we offer up just in terms of how we've engaged and where we've seen success? We currently have about a dozen mutual customers currently.
So Elizabeth, can you share with us a little bit about what are the signals from existing clients that you've already seen that you need to bring this topic to the table, right? Yeah. What are those signals? What's happening in that first client conversation, or what should our account executives and customer executives look out for in terms of where this might be the right time to bring a conversation about the Mom Project on the table?
Yeah, Claudio, thank you so much for asking that. It's almost like you're my Confederate. From our perspective, when clients are talking about, and of course, Allison, I'm going to start, and then I'd love your input on this as well. But when clients are talking about diversity and inclusion initiatives within their companies, that is a great time in which to introduce us. You know, you have a marquee book of customers, many of whom are recognized for being employers of choice for both women and for people of color. We are increasingly seeing that clients are cascading their employee-based D&I initiatives onto their contingent workforce. And we're seeing that for a couple of reasons. First, when they do a lot of converting from contractor to employee, you want that to be you want your contractor base to be diverse, and also because as the continued shift toward contingent work being a way to work of choice for many contingent workers, it only makes sense from a total talent management perspective to ensure that you're cascading those goals across your workforce and not solely to your employee base. Allison, do you have anything else that you would want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's spot on, Elizabeth. We're just seeing a big shift and trend around companies cascading those D&I goals for their FTE into their contingent workforce. And to Arun's point, really broadening the definition of diverse success beyond business-owned status to truly how is that translating into candidate diversity. I think beyond that, an area that we've seen customers get really excited is about what we're doing to really transform the talent experience. We're very different than other talent marketplaces in that we really are creating such a differentiated experience for our moms in big and small ways. Everything from providing her free childcare so she can get to her interview in 24, 48 hours, to connecting her with a free career coach, equipping her with a beautiful resume, offering a mom support team to help her manage through compensation conversations, which we know can be uncomfortable for women. We're coming at this problem so holistically. So I think customers that are thinking really innovative in terms of that talent experience, there tends to be a really nice fit.
That's great.
I could just add one more thing.
And then we have another question from the...
Oh, okay. I'll be quick. Just to tag on to what Elizabeth and Allison have said, that I've been in this business a long time, and it's always been check the box for diversity spend. We are absolutely seeing that customers are wanting a true diverse talent for their needs, and also being able to track that EEO data, and would love to, Arun, maybe on another call for sure, is to talk about how you guys are answering that from a customer reporting standpoint regarding contingent labor.
That's a really great point, Donna. We have a
I
question.
also think to one thing that we actually have a work labs. We have an internal research and insights division. So we also have a lot of data and a bit of an advisory. So you often see maybe different kind of cultural norms in the hiring of contingent labor. So that's been really an area that we've been able to help. And because we often see a stumbling block is you have leadership promoting D&I, but when it comes to like hiring managers wanting to kind of look at diverse perspectives, that's where you might get some of those cultural objections. So that's a great area to look out for as well.
Yeah, that's great, Allison. And, you know, speaking of culture within companies, one thing that I have seen recently with one of my clients is that they are taking D&I initiatives so seriously throughout the organization that they are setting business line item goals for diversity, and they are tying variable comp to it for managers. So that's really cascading those goals. And you know, when it's tied to money, people tend to pay attention to it. So those are really good inputs. We also have a question from an attendee. Has there been an uptick in specific skill sets across your network since the pandemic hit in March?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah, I was going to say, Allison, do you have a perspective on that?
Absolutely. So our sweet spot tends to be professional and tech. The average user on the platform has about 8 to 12 years of experience. So we do mostly professional technology jobs. I would say by far tech has been the fastest growing because we're seeing in general tech has weathered through the downturn the best. So that one definitely stands out. Finance, marketing, sales are other ones that have been growing where we're seeing softness in things like recruiting as companies are doing less hiring. But tech, marketing, finance, actually legal, we have a gold mine of legal talent. So if you have customers looking for exceptionally talented lawyers, like we are the solution.
Okay. Thank you so much, Allison. And there's been a very similar question that just came through that I'm just going to add something on to, which is, what are the range of positions that you fill and in what spaces have you found the most success? And I think that Allison just alluded to how great the talent is that we have around legal. Marketing is another specific area for us. Business and professional services. But one of the things that I would want to return to that I had mentioned, but I think it's worth emphasizing, is the fact that sometimes when potential clients hear the Mom Project, they think that we are a return to work program. And while we do have that and have had great success in setting up return to work programs for specific clients, most of our talent is currently working. They are passive candidates. They are not available in other talent pools, but they're driven to the Mom Project because of the brand and all of the great support that Allison talked about that we provide to them. And so they're a highly engaged but passive pool of candidates. And so with that, comes this whole, you know, they have mid-career skills, and those skills are current because they're working, but they are just they're open to opportunities that better help them fulfill their personal and professional goals.
And we started with a focus on project-based contingent work by design. As I was incubating the business, I stumbled on a stat that women actually represented the majority of full-time freelancers. And if you peeled back that onion as to why, they love the freedom it could give them, as they also have a lot of caregiving responsibilities. So we had a strong suspicion, like many moms were preferring to work this way. And so as the gig economy continues to grow, we see moms really just being early adopters of that.
That's great.
I also, one thing to come back to quickly in terms of signals that we could be a good partner, I think remote work is certainly one as well. On remote remote roles, like the talent that you'll see from the Mom Project is just so impressive. And we'd really kind of built the product to be able to support remote roles. Not all of our roles are remote, but I think this is such an interesting time for all of us to be able to shape conversations, because I think this is just one of those unique moments in time where I see a real behavioral shift and openness from leadership to kind of keep this remote trend going. So us all kind of pushing that agenda.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, we had 2 brave questioners from the audience, plus Claudio. What else would people like to know? And one just came in. Are you partnered with our Fieldglass MSP partners and staffing companies who are women and minority owned? Should be a great avenue for placing more mom talent. So we absolutely, in addition to our VMS partnerships, we also have MSP partnerships with the largest providers in the business. I personally have responsibility beyond the Fieldglass relationship for the relationships with AGS as well as Kelly OCG. So often, as you would expect, these conversations are introduced from the MSP program office. However, we also know that you have a lot of self-managed clients. And so in those instances, you are a great conduit for information and guidance to clients. Lou, I'm not sure if that entirely answered your question. I'm not sure about the whole. Oh, perfect. Yep. Yeah. Thanks. Great. We appreciate the engagement and the questions. What else do you want to know?
So Elizabeth, this is Claudio again. Yeah. Just a quick question. So we've been talking about existing client base and our existing MSP partners as the channels for the Mom Project. Can you talk about where the Mom Project maybe is working with companies that don't have a VMS, where maybe there's an opportunity for the Mom Project and Fieldglass to work together towards net new clients, where the conversation actually begins about and with the Mom Project?
Do you want to, I just saw you go off mute, so I was formulating an answer, but I'd love your perspective to get started.
Me or Allison, sorry.
Either one of you, actually. When I saw you go off mute, I thought you were going to get started.
Yeah, I can just really quickly, and I'm sure Allison, I can jump in here really quickly. Claudio, great question. And it's actually one of the huge benefits of working with the Mom Project is it's a joint partnership, mutually beneficial, where we're a lot of times talking to CHRO and human resource leadership. Fieldglass might be on the procurement side. We're hearing about leads that are early and would absolutely love to be connected to the direct sales team to share those leads and any help that that we can give the partnership whatsoever. But yeah, that's a great avenue to have joint benefit with the sales team.
Absolutely. I love that. We're all about creating win-wins. And I think we've made a couple of introductions. I think you'll see a little bit of an expanded focus in serving kind of mid-market as well, beyond just the Fortune 1000, where we see a lot more of that white space customers like Etsy, who do a fair amount of hiring volume and don't have any VMS intact, like totally.
And are there specific segments? For example, I know I see on the call here, Lou has been working in the healthcare side for a long time, but are there specific industries where the concentration or the need is greater and that we as a team could collaborate on focusing on those industries?
Yeah, I think tech really stands out as being like the strongest for us. I think just the kind of the more progressive nature in terms of, and some of that might be driven by, a more millennial employee population that, has both spouses, both partners working, and they just are feeling the pain points more acutely for their parents. They tend to be a great fit, and particularly now that we're seeing that's where a lot of companies are going remote within tech sector, which we're super excited about. So I would say tech is really strong. Consumer is also really strong for us, financial and banking. But we at this point are serving most industries, everything from oil and gas to retail. But tech is probably the sector by far we're most excited and bullish about.
Okay, great. So a call to action, I think, to our account executives in the tech sector would be, let's have a follow-on conversation about bringing the Mom Project conversation basically to our clients. Are there any of my AE colleagues out there who with some number of clients that we can get started with?
We know that they're going through their mental Rolodexes, Claudio, to determine what they think are their most applicable and the clients who would benefit most from our partnership.
Of course.
Yeah, and we're happy to share any customer referrals. So you guys can see beneath all of this are really strong metrics and again, quality. And we're really excited about what cloud enables us from a speed advantage perspective as well. So we really believe we can make you a very proud partner.
Great.
Excellent. All right. I think that I'm just checking to make sure we don't have any further questions, which we do not. So I want to thank everyone for your time and attention, your engagement, and your partnership. Claudio and Mike, thank you both for all you did to help us get this set up and get our audience with us today. We're thrilled about it and thrilled to have further conversations about how together we can make a difference. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Thank you to Allison and Donna and Elizabeth for this time. It's been terrific. Thank you for bringing the conversation.
Thank you, Claudio.
Thank you.
Let's get some moms hired, everybody. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Mike.
Welcome.